How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi. Welcome to another episode of Tier Talk. Guys, great question that came my way. Gentleman had 24 years in, never made rank, and he's starting to question what it is that he's leaving behind in this profession. Basically questioning his importance. So I reached out to this gentleman. We had a very interesting dialogue, and I felt that this dialogue was something that should be shared. If anything, I would like to think it's motivational, but either way, definitely has some value. So when we come back from our sponsors, I guess the question is, when we're done with this profession, how do we know we made an impact? Or were we even put in a position to make an impact? It's a great question. All right, guys, now if you haven't, the show Tier Talk, see you brave men and women that work in corrections. So please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. Bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. We're going to go to our sponsor, and when we come back, let's talk about creating an impact. Stand by.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it, it's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Guys, inmate manipulation is a course that is highly needed. It's the process that's so slow moving and subtle that you don't realize it's happening. When inmates choose to manipulate, they manipulate our need to react. Situational awareness and insight is going to save your career. It's going to save you from doing foolish things. Listen to your gut. So the more insight we have, the more we can recognize what isn't so overt, and we can correct our behavior before we fall into a trap that we can't get out of. If you allow an inmate to pull you out of your prescribed role, you are opening up a door for a host of problems. Inmate manipulation, the psychology behind inmate manipulation. Available now. Link in description. Thank you guys for listening to our sponsor. You know, it was a very interesting dialogue that wasn't really all about giving value to that gentleman. I think in the giving of information that I was trying to give or advice, I found value in it for me as well. You know, all of us rush to retire. And then the day comes, and then maybe two questions may hit your mind. Maybe two. One question is, man, where do I go from here? What next? And then, what have I left behind? Have I done anything to have an impact? And I think that's a great question to ask, but it shouldn't be asked on your 24th or 25th year. It should be something that you ask every day that you're in this profession. Now, this gentleman wanted to make rank. So this gentleman took the test every 2 years, except for his 24th year. This was the first time that the test was offered, and he said, there's no sense of taking it because I only have 1 year left, and he has to leave on his 25th year. And that, when he had to refuse taking the test, when he decided that there's really no need to it, that's when he realized that his dream of making rank, his dream of moving up, has ended. So the first thing that I asked him, I was like, well, why did you want to move up? I mean, you have to ask yourself that. You know, what was the motivation for moving up? And this thing was that he wanted to create an impact. So it wasn't about the money. It wasn't really anything external. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the position of power. He wanted to create an impact. So I asked him, why did you feel that the impact that you wanted to create could only happen at that high level? And reason, right off the bat, he said, because I wanted to have an impact on the system, And I wanted to have an impact on the people that work in the system. And you know what's funny is I've done shows like this before. I believe the front line is very involved with the impact that can be created as long as you have management that listens. So all because you're on the front line doesn't mean you can't create an impact. I mean, if anything, that's where the evolution occurs. It occurs on the front line. As long as you have management, again, that's willing to listen. But anyway, with that said, I said, and I'm learning this right now because I have a friend of mine that's really pushing me to answer questions that I never thought about asking myself. They're questions that are meant for me to look inwards and kind of get me to answer, like, what am I expecting of what I do now? What's the end game for this Tier Talk channel? What's my goals, my purpose? And it's funny because all I did was really just put up videos. And then people started to listening. So there's an impact there that I'm having. And sometimes I ask myself, is that enough? Is that all that it is that I wanted? The one difference between me and this gentleman, because again, I'm still discovering it. I'm still not ready to answer some of the tough questions that have been asked of me because it really involves me understanding why I decided to do what I do, which I think was purely about the profession, the people that work in it. But there may be some more, and I need to understand what that more is because that's what's going to help hopefully continue to inspire me to continue to do what I do and create the videos and the content that hopefully provide good insight into this great profession. But what I asked the gentleman is, that when you have a dream, when you want to create an impact, you really have to make sure that you have total control of what that dream is so you can create that impact. So if you want to move up and that's where you thought was the best way that you can have that impact, well, that's your first problem because you left part of that want to have that impact in the hands of somebody else, people that can control your ability to move up, which means the success of the test. So in your mind, what I believe you were seeing was the promotion, then the impact. And that's kind of like, it's the wrong way. Impacts happen during our interactions with people. And I truly believe that you have to value yourself before you are able to contribute value into this world. And hopefully, when I had the dialogue with this gentleman, the advice that I'm going to give, which I'll tell you guys now, isn't too late. Because sometimes what happens is we get so focused on the wrong things that we don't realize that we're in the middle of doing something right. Now, for me, I've been blessed. I've moved up in my career. And I've been able to, I believe, create an impact at every level I was at. And as a frontline officer, yes, I believe I created an impact with my peers to some extent. But if I look at where my position of authority was, like that's basically where I feel that I had to have some position of authority in order to create that impact, then my dealings with the population, I could have created an impact. Now, some people may think, well, I'm not here to be a role model. Yeah, you are, kind of, because you're being observed. And you never know who looks at you and sees you as such. So now you're spending all your time focused on this need to get promotion that you're probably not really taking into account what you're doing right now, the lives you're impacting in that moment as you have your interactions with the population or your peers. And I believe those interactions matter because when we start to look back and wonder what it was that we've done with our life that had meaning, it's not going to be just about the profession. It's going to be the human element. And sometimes that could come across as just a simple dialogue where someone asks for help and you give them the right advice, they take it, and they succeed. They meet that level of expectation that you gave them. And we may not realize how powerful that is because we may go about our days and do it to everybody we interact with. But this could be the first time that this person ever heard something positive. First time they ever heard someone say, you could do it, and then maybe some advice as to how it should be done. And that's part of our role in what we do. Definitely. So I told the gentleman, I said, you know what? You still have 1 year left, but you should never depend on anyone else but yourself to create that impact that you want to create. I don't know what that impact technically is, but you put that in the hands of someone else. Take it back. Look through your time in this department. Look at every interaction that you had that could have had some meaning, some purpose. And then lo and behold, you're sitting there waiting to make this rank to try to say, well, I need this rank to have an impact. And it turns out you were doing it all the time. With every interaction you had. You know, some of us are motivated by others. Some of us are inspired just from something within. Maybe you're that person that has something in you that you have to share to the world. And maybe you've been doing it this whole time without even knowing. And for some reason you thought that the rank mattered. It really doesn't. The interactions matter. You could be a success at any level in life. Just treat people good. Find value in yourself. And then contribute that value to the world. And that could be done on your terms. You have control. It was a great dialogue. Hopefully, this gentleman took something from it. After 24 years, he has 1 year left. Maybe he'll look back and realize that the 24 years wasn't wasted. It doesn't matter who you help at that moment. People need help. It's what we do. It's a profession where we have to provide help. Again, within a prescribed role, but we have to provide help. Don't minimize your impact on this world because you minimize the people that you've given it to. Actually, if anything, that impact becomes that much more important because those are the people that some people may forget, and that says a lot about you. A lot. As always, guys, the show is Tear Talk. If you haven't, please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. The bell is going to notify you every time I post a video. Stay safe.